Hello, I'm here to show you some of the features of Teach TCI or Geography Alive, your online text for social studies. So the website you would go to is teachtci.com, so make sure you have it typed in correctly or you will get to a totally different website. Once you are there, you want to go to Student Sign In. You should have your account set up to always sign in with Google. That should be the easiest way so that you don't have to type in usernames and passwords and teacher emails. So I would click on Sign In with Google. I had to create, since I am a teacher already, I have a teacher account, I had to create a fake student account for myself. So you'll see that I won't be signing in with Guilford Public Schools. I had to sign in with a different Gmail, but you should always select your Guilford Public Schools email. Again, I'm a teacher, so I have to sign in with a different email. So sign in with your Guilford Schools email. Let's let that sign in. Okay, and you should get to this page. I'm just going to show you some of the new features. Some of you have used this before. There are some new features to the program this year. Some of you are not familiar with it at all. So I'm going to show you some of the main parts of the text that you will be using this year. And depending on how your teacher wants to use it, you may be using some of it, and some of it you may not use at all. Okay, if you click on My Classes, you just want to make sure you're enrolled in the correct class. If you have more than one class that you're enrolled in, just tell your teacher so that they can make sure that you're just in one class. Okay, I will show you a little bit about assignments and grades afterwards. The settings is just your username. You probably don't need that right now, but I want to show you the program content and text. Program content is always the main page. Okay, these are the major units that we will use, not all of them, but some of them. You might have used some of these last year. We may go back to these, economic systems, comparing forms of government this year. We won't be using the United States and Canada or Latin America. You did some of that last year, but definitely we'll be poking at and looking through Unit 4, starting with Unit 5 in Africa, and doing Unit 6 and parts of Unit 7. Okay, so we won't be doing all of these, but we'll be selecting particular units. Okay, and with each unit, sorry for going up and down, for each unit there are sections, so your teacher may say Unit 5, Section 19, Section 20. So that's what that means. If it was Unit 5, it would be 19, the Nile River. Okay, the mapping labs, which are commonly used, don't have a number, so just maybe Unit 5, Mapping Lab Africa, which is something most of us will start with. If you click on text instead, just going to click on that, it is pretty much the same thing as program content. It's just laid out differently. It's just laid out in drop-down menus. Okay, so you can still see the different options are there, the units and the section numbers. Okay. And we'll talk about the notes in this section in a minute. Okay. Notebook is essentially, which I'll walk you through in a minute, is again, it's the text, and then the notebook part of this is where you can actually type in answers for information that you learn in the text. So for those of you who are not familiar with this, in this program, there is reading, and there are places where you can actually, I showed in my sample here, highlight things. You can type information here. I'll show that to you in a minute. And there are places down here, this is what they call the notebook, where you can type in your own answers for questions. So I'll show that to you in a minute. Quickly, just the lesson game. These are some of the kind of the fun features here that your teachers may or may not assign. They may be optionals, but they go along with each of the lessons. Vocabulary cards, these are fun things that you can do if you're reviewing for a quiz or a test, where they have some of the important keywords available with definitions. Click on the next word. So these might be some of the most important words found in the text that can help you study. Assessments, Your teachers may or may not use this feature. Okay, there's nothing here right now because the teacher hasn't assigned an assessment, but this may be a quiz or a test that they can put right into the program if they choose not to use a typical paper and pencil assessment or use a Google form. The reference section is really important. My notes, that was something that I'll go back and show that to you. I actually highlighted something in the text and it appears right here. I actually made a note in the text and that appears right here as well. So I'll go back and show that part to you in just a moment. The glossary, you may want that. It's just like a dictionary. So if you're looking up a particular word, you're not quite sure what it means, click on the letter it starts with, scroll down, see if you can find the definition. Maps, you're definitely going to need this. There are all different types of maps here that are available. Okay. If you want to see a closer view, let's say we want to look at, let's look at population density of Europe. Click on view. Okay, it's a much better view. If you click on it even more, you can zoom in and out. Okay. Okay, so that's the reference section. So I'm going to go back to some of the most important features of this, going back to the content, the text. So let me just start at this page because it's a little bit easier to find. So let's say your teacher decided that we're going to start with, let's say, for example, the Mapping Lab of Africa. Okay. Again, here we are, we're in the text. This is the very first part. This is a section, I'm going to hold off on this right now, where you can actually do some drawing. You can play with this on your own. We may experiment with this in class, but I'm going to skip this part for now just for instructional purposes. So I want to show you some of the more important features. You can easily navigate through this part. Okay, you can either click Next Section, or you can just go through the drop-down menu. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're more comfortable with. If you'd rather select the section you need to go to, you can do that. If your teacher says go to the Mapping Lab Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, use the drop-down menu, or you can just click Next Section. Okay? So let's say we were reading this first section on Africa. This notes part, okay, your teacher may say in the notes, complete the notes for this section. It says, write some questions you have about the physical geography in this region. As you read through the sections on the physical geography, come back here to add some more questions. So where it says start typing here, you actually have the ability to type in an answer. I'm going to say, how about, why are there so many deserts in Africa? Okay. So that's just maybe a pretend question. So you see right here it says saved. Your work automatically saves very similarly to Google. Okay. There's this new feature this is new to me. It says turn in. You can click turn in. Your teacher actually gets notified that work was turned in on their end. Don't panic if you don't click the turn in button. I already experimented with this on my own. I can still see your work if you don't click turn in. You can also revise your work if you've already turned it in. I'm also going to show you that you can see feedback from a teacher. If you've turned in work and your teacher wants to give you feedback on your answer, you can see there's a spot in under grades where you can see what the teacher comment is. Okay, I'm just going to go to another section where I did some highlighting. I want to show you the highlighting feature. Okay, so let's say your teacher said they wanted you to highlight. So we're in the next section. This is section 1, physical features. There's some new tools here. One, you can always listen to the text itself by clicking play. I would say put in your earbuds. Select reading level. That is a new feature. I would just be sure to consult with your teacher about that. Listening to it in Spanish here. Main ideas, sometimes the text allows you to, or it will show you the main ideas of a text. That's available. Highlighting. Okay, show highlights. If you want to highlight, you should be able to go back. Okay, let's say I wanted to highlight something that my teacher told me to, or I wanted to highlight something important. You can select a color, you click on it. There you go. Okay, if I wanted to, if my teacher instructed me to add some notes, maybe instead of doing paper and pencil, hand notes, my teacher wanted me to take some notes about what I'm reading. We could click add notes, and this is where you could type your notes in. Let's see, all right, there are basins. This is just a basic note. Okay. This is new, save text to drive. If I click on this, it would give you the option to go to your Google Drive. That's new to me. So I'm sure, you know, if you and your teachers, if this is something you want to work on or talk about, you could do that. Now, if you wanted to go back and find all of this, this is that reference, which I was talking about before. These would all appear back in your My Notes area. Okay? So these stay here, they save here. You can get rid of them if you don't want them. Okay? One other thing, I just want to show you the grading and assignments part. So let's say your teacher may or may not use this feature. They may assign something through Geography Alive or not. They may just tell you. But let's say a teacher actually assigned something through the program, it would appear here. So you would actually click on assignments. Let's say they actually, you know, typed it on their end. They want you to do something particular. You click on it. It says this assignment is due today. That was the note that I put in as a teacher. It's section 7, economic activity in the mapping lab. I click on it and it goes right to where my teacher wants me, the assignment they want me to do. Maybe they want me to read it. The teacher might have given additional instructions. There's instructions here. Find 2 more sentences with information. Let's just say I put in an answer down here. This is where this notebook part, these notes, a lot of the times you'll be using these features to answer information about what you're reading in the text. There's always different types of questions. Maybe it's about the maps or the text you're reading. That's where you're going to put a lot of answers. Okay, so that's what the assignments feature means, that if a teacher is assigning something through Geography Alive, you could look to see what the teacher wants you to do. In terms of this grades button, okay, you see there's really no information here. This is if a teacher actually graded something that you did in the program. I made something up here, okay, but this is what the teacher comments were on a particular question that I answered. So I would click on that, view the teacher comments. So I said, this question was about find 2 or more sentences with information that is geographically represented on the population density map. So I had to do some reading here, answer that question about the map. I put in my answer. I didn't complete it all the way, but my teacher wrote correct. So that's where you see the teacher comments. Okay, so you may see your teacher doing that, adding in comments so you can see the feedback that they give you. Okay, so those are some quick features for Geography Alive, some new, some may be old to you, but please see your teacher if you have questions. And that's about it for today. Thank you for listening.